feel like it said 2:59 for the last like 5 minutes.
And how do you feel?
There we go. Okay, it is now 3 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Nelson, are we online?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? I see nobody from the public here. I have not received any feedback from anybody from the public that could not be here. Any other public comment? Hearing none, moving on to item number 3, election of a vice chair of this committee. With Mr. Coggin's absence, his departure, that seat is vacant. So open nominations to fill that vacancy for the remainder of that term.
1 minute, Rob. I ain't doing
You guys wanna flip a coin?
it. No, he's doing it.
So there, yeah, so historically we alternate between the two, that's our practice. So that, although that's not written, that's how we've operated, so if we're gonna change that, we'd have to have more discussion about it. You guys wanna rock, paper, scissors, or?
No, I nominate.
He nominated me, so.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a nomination and a second. Any other nominations? Do we need to do a roll call vote for the
No.
election?
No, you just have
I'll make
to-
a motion to close the nominations. Cast and unanimous ballot for Ron.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. All right, all those in favor of the election / appointment of Mr. Freeman to fill the rest of the vice chair's term, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approval of minutes, we've got both July and August here. Any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, I'll seek a motion to approve the minutes from July and August.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from July and August.
I'll second that motion. All those,
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Freeman has requested a roll call vote. Ms. Nelson?
Okay, John Kenyon,
Yes.
Jerry Biller, Ron Freeman. I'm sorry, you said no, correct? I couldn't quite hear you. Okay. Mayor Grotzinger,
Yes.
motion passes.
On that note, Mr. Freeman sent me an email with some information about the collection of minutes. I did read through it, but I'm not gonna respond to it. We've actually requested an opinion from the state on the subject. So I don't think it's worth discussing until we hear from them. We did send an invitation to BJ, the County Economic Development Administrator. I think that's what that acronym stands for. And he was unable to be here today, but I just wanted him to have a minute if he was able to talk about, what our industrial properties are able to do, and if he needs anything from us. But hopefully he'll be able to attend sometime in the future. If there are any questions, anything specific, we'd like to hear from him. On that off. Otherwise, I didn't know we needed a presentation or anything. If you want to say hello or for an hour, that's fine. We move on to 6, discussion on financials. In the packet are expenses and revenues. Both Keith and Mr. Ewer are at this finance committee meeting. That Mr. Ewer thought it would be done early afternoon, and I was surprised when he thought that'd be done that quick. So, I looked through them before, and I did not have any questions for Ms. Heath on these. The expenses and revenues, no action is required on those. Is there any questions?
I guess I was gonna ask about the utilities, post in
listed under Forest One and Forest Two.
Forest One has most index, took over in July. Numbers there, I just hope you could provide the answer.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And I don't know, Mr. Administrator, do you know anything about the utilities that
Yeah, I'm trying to.
in Jezreel? We had a negative in June.
I mean, it could be timing of June's and July.
Yeah, I'm suspicious because June had a big negative, like we made a bunch of money, and that was the city's reimbursement for the vacant period, but
Yeah, I would assume that hit in, just off the top of my head. I believe, yeah, Index started officially
July 1.
July 1. So, unless there's anything lingering, you know, how some bills hit, you know, in July or maybe even into August, just based on the billing cycle. I don't recall having seen any other invoices come in from the county yet for reimbursement. Yeah, I would assume that's what those negatives are in there.
Why is it so high though, like in April and May? Shouldn't have been nobody in there.
I would suspect that was related to construction. They were running heaters there.
Yeah, they would have been using power on the site.
Are them on 1 meter now, both buildings?
They are now, yeah, for a while.
It ain't Forestry 1 and Forestry 2 anymore.
Right.
Right, yeah, that cut off sometime in June, I believe. When they finally demoed that service into 1402. So now everything is served electric and gas from the 501 site, which is closest to Doughty Road. But they did have both services in while they were doing the infill building, cause obviously it's kinda tough to string a power cable or a gas line for that matter.
So the budget for next year, it still shows Forest Two, but all expenses and revenues are listed under Forest One. We haven't made an official decision if we're gonna rename that or whatever for accounting purposes, but in the budgets we went through, everything is under Forest One.
Okay.
But, yeah, the city had agreed that they would cover all the utilities, you know, up through when Indec took those over. So if there's still an outstanding balance, we'll just await a final invoice on that from county finance, and we'll be sure to pay that when it arrives.
Okay.
Okay, that's expenses and revenues. I keep forgetting to add this profit and loss analysis. I'll cover that under financial reports. We have the budget reports in the packet. That's next on the agenda. Here's a budget report for each property. They all have a box on them that says check if no concerns, and that box is checked on each of those pages.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
Second.
A motion, a second, to approve the budget reports as presented. All those in, sorry, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve the budget reports signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, financial reports, we can go back in the packet to profit and loss analysis. The things I noted on here was, again, as we kind of discussed, Forest One shows a pretty significant loss, just for that big vacant period, and some expenses there related to that. But everything else looks like it's operating at a profit. Any questions or discussion about the profit and loss analysis?
Shows June, why are the expenses so high just in June? that's when that, oh, I see, 'cause that cost allocation comes in June.
Right.
That's what made it so high.
All your insurance.
Yeah, they split that up.
Okay.
Okay, uncollected rents is the next item on the agenda. Looks like everybody is pretty much current here. Everything that's occupied at least. Again, we're showing the sheriff's office being unpaid, but I heard quite a bit of discussion about that at the county's last property committee meeting. As long as there's progress made on that, I feel like we're doing well there. Anything else on financials? Okay, moving on, item 7, discussion and action of facilities management. Again, Mr. Ewers unable to be here. So he didn't send me anything significant that has happened. He did call yesterday, said he didn't think he would be able to be here. Then this afternoon, he called again, he said he was certainly not gonna be here, but he didn't have anything significant to report there. Nothing major's come up for capital improvement projects needed. But he did have 2 different sets of doors for the Enterprise Center. There are quotes for that at the back of the packet. So the very back page is service doors, he says they require 2 entry doors, and this was a price they gave him for 1 entry door. And he said he talked with them and they'd be willing to honor that for 2 more doors. So that was $1,524 a piece. And then there is an overhead door there. All these doors are rusted out, that's the problem with those. I see one of these, the overhead door, he's got a bottom section and an intermediate section, so I assume that's the same door. The 2 lower sections are rusted out. So looking back at the budgeted expenditures and year-to-date expenditures for the Enterprise Center, we are well below the expenditures on that property compared with budgeted expenditures, so I feel like there's plenty in there to authorize these overhead door repair and 2 new entry doors. And again, he wasn't able to be here. He said he could answer questions if he had to. And if you wanted to ask more questions, he said they're not urgent, they could wait another month. But he'd like to get them in before winter.
So just for clarification, the last page for the 2, or the door is just 1 door?
Correct, and he said they would honor that price for more doors.
Okay, are there more doors there?
Yes, so this is one that's already been done.
Okay,
This
So
was in July, we approved this one, I think.
okay.
So same company,
That door so much more than 1 section of an overhead door.
yeah, they're commercial steel doors. He tried with, before we did this one, to find just the slab and keep the frame. But see, it's listed, the hinge spacing is very specific on those, and he could not locate a slab that would match that frame.
I'll make a motion to approve the doors.
A motion and a second to approve an overhead and 2 service doors at the terms presented on the quotes here. Any other discussion? Did you get that? 2 service doors?
Do 2 motions, 2 entities. That we'll do one right away.
One, it is different. Under
To approve.
we've got,
Class.
with
On my,
motion to approve the from Rice Lake Glass and Door for 2 service doors.
second that.
And Mayor Grassinger seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve Fondle door. The overhead door.
Second.
Second.
We've got a motion by Mr. Miller, a second by Mr. Freeman to approve the repair of the overhead door from Flanders Door Company. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carries. Any other questions I should ask you or our next meeting? He will move on to discuss and tenants. I mean, heard from time that any buildings, I guess.
Not offhand, maybe, yeah, the one question for Mr. Ewer would be, I know there were 2 board members for this index space that at last county board approved the budget amendment for that, so just seeing if those have been installed, or if there's a time frame, because obviously we'll be getting things or not before too long.
Actually in 5.
Yeah, they were older, so they weren't scope of work.
Right.
Otherwise, Mr. West of Basin Avenue, informed by Origin, since they had reached out previously about additional space, leasing them additional space as they needed it. To date, they haven't confirmed that they need any extra, but
Okay.
still there for the taking, I guess.
Do we need to advertise that space is available?
It probably wouldn't hurt. We also have the almost 10,000 square feet in Fritz Avenue that Mr. O'Keefe, I believe, is out of now. I see he still owes his last month of rent for the bear bait storage. But, so yeah, we could advertise that space. Advertise, I guess, any space that whatever the community floor is. Throw it out there. There have been formal requests, but as you're all probably aware, there's some folks looking for a potential space to put a food pantry. So if there's space that's kind of habitually vacant, doesn't really fit economic development, probably not, but at least I presented it. I certainly don't think it would be the greatest and best use. I mean, I certainly feel that food pantries are important for us, but just putting that out there as well, I guess, so the committee's aware. Yeah, I haven't heard any complaints, maintenance requests, or anything like that. No other frustrations at this time.
How have we historically advertised empty spaces? Several times. Other times we've advertised as more rent for pre-approved dollar per square foot rate.
Yeah, history has been, or request for proposals by a certain date, advertise that, like Class 2 in the Ladysmith News, put it on the city website. I believe it also goes on the homepage of the county website. But yeah, you could conceivably just put something out, on both the government entities' websites that says, yes, space available, here's the minimum dollar amount per square foot, and any other terms, you know, whether there's prorated utilities attached or anything of that nature. You might still want to advertise that at least once in the paper, 'cause there are, you know, places that look there for information. Again, totally up to the committee. But that wouldn't be unreasonable. I know the county has an economic development website as well that was, you know, pretty severely out of date since Mr. Alvarado left, and I think that was one of the things that, BJ was going to be working on through his role. I haven't looked recently to see where that site's at, but that would be another avenue to advertise available space.
Well, if we got any, I think we need to start advertising it.
Yes.
Help them if it's sitting empty.
I think there's no action under this on the agenda, but I think without an action, I think you can reasonably acknowledge that we have space available, through the city website or in discussions with BJ or.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything other than some employee time to put something on the city and county websites. Just make sure that it's the same coordinated message or whatever.
Yeah, if it's a generic statement that there is industrial space available, please contact somebody for more information.
Ranging from 1,900 to 20,000 square feet.
How many square feet was Mr. O'Keefe? 10,000, I thought I heard.
The full space is 10,000, he was occupying 3,000.
Okay.
But, you know, when you, subdividing space is nice if you can get a few people in there that work well together, or even be able to bring in some revenue, you know. Charge for 10 when they only need 3 might some way, and it's probably than none. Yeah, multi in a space too, and people are, you know, just any myriad of issues when you bring more than one person together. We can just advertise like a generic range.
Approved any rates or anything, to authorize you to lease, or anything. Put that on the agenda to set square footage rates for those properties.
The same as all the other buildings.
Yeah, they,
Should be a generic rate.
yes, they are, it certainly should be, but they are different.
You could add for now as, yeah,
Available.
what the going rates are per building. Or yeah, next meeting, if you don't have an action item now, you could start plowing ahead with, yeah, setting a new kind of flat rate across the board. If that's something the committee wanted to take up.
I think a year or so ago, we evaluated all of it, we kind of separated out by office space versus, called the I think it might they're actively as a warehouse space. We should do that next month, and then we can, that would then authorize the to show up to perspective, know what yeah, what the
this gap to the next, it won't be anything below tenants currently being charged. You know, we've got that set up for $3, so tell the floor's $3, maybe a little higher over it for $2.50, but then they utilities.
Yeah, you can, I think you can share what the previous tenant and just, we set the rate for the next tenant yet.
Sure. Yeah.
And we intended to.
Yeah. The current rate, last rate is probably lower. All of them, yeah, they could run the documents. But yeah, okay.
Right, nobody else moving out soon then, you said?
Not that I'm aware of as of today.
Under other properties, under purview of joint management, I meant to look up some more information about the property we talked about, across the road from Indeck. It's a vacant lot. We talked about it a little bit last month.
Well, it's not,
Well, it's,
it's not any building.
correct.
Yeah.
That's being by Indeck. I meant to look up more information about that.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future, unless
And we have an actual property?
yeah, there is one. It's from a while back, but I think it's similar to, you know, set up for them for their warehouse, which, you know, kind of played off of what was set up for their warehouse with the city, where there's like 2 or 3 year at a time renewal period.
Yeah, it's 5-year renewal periods, and it does have an escalator of 3% every year, that in July, every July.
Can I'll during the file, see if we
Okay, thank you. That's just the one that I listed. Or
Just that the is now gonna be together with the other properties. Only project to information.
okay, anything else about the what's your- Mr. Hutchinson?
Might be setting just precedence overall. I would like to go back to momentarily to financials. What information is great, but there's one bit of information that would be useful to everyone, would be the status of the city's allowance for the county to take in all the revenue and incur all the expenditures, so that it could apply the excess to paying off $3 million that the county borrowed a number of years ago, which I think is getting paid off and will be in 2029, but I think we should really see the progression on that pay down.
Do you happen to know where that, was there a written agreement?
Yes.
Do you happen to have a copy or
I have it back in my office. I'd have to dig for about 2 minutes.
put that on the agenda?
That would be fine. Thank you.
Yeah, if you could send that to me and then
I'll make you
Oh,
a
okay.
copy before you leave.
great. Did you say it out loud or did I imagine it? That's about the 20 rail yard purchase, right?
It was part of it, yes.
Okay.
20 rail yard, Yates Avenue, and I believe
1402.
Forest 1 and 2 were all lumped into that, those 4 properties.
Okay. yeah, we'll put some discussion on the next agenda for that. Okay, item 9, joint management agreement. I didn't make any major changes, I didn't print it out again. We've had a couple small additions and such over the last couple of months. Wanted to ask anybody had anything they wanted to review in that, or anything they wanted added, changed?
I don't know if I sent this to you or not, I think I did, but there was a reference to Christensen Brothers Industrial Park.
Yeah, it says vacant property in the Christians.
I'd like that reference taken out because the Christensen Brothers Industrial Park is entirely city-owned and located east of the Canadian National main line, whereas the property we're talking about here is west of that rail line and east of Highway 27.
Okay, so the jointly, the industrial park, the jointly owned are west of the railroad. Okay,
Thank you.
I'll contradict you and say I'm not 100% sure if that's accurate. I can look and see what the city resolution was, but I thought it all got lumped in, everything from 27 to 16th Street or whatever that is.
It was, it shouldn't have.
Not that it's, yeah, the
Because the county would have had equal naming rights, and I'm sure they wouldn't like that name, and that's pretty fine with me.
sure, yeah.
okay. So we'll change that paragraph to remove that reference. And then I'll be more descriptive about the jointly owned property west of the railroad, adjacent to Downey Road. Not adjacent, there are some parcels that don't touch Downey Road, I think there, so.
There are some off Meadowbrook Road.
Right, and there's one, I'll probably have a Jessup Road address, I think.
Jezer Barton Road.
Yeah.
Big 20-acre field.
Okay, so I'll clean up that description there. Okay, I think I'll make most of the, I got a lot of handwritten on in the last couple of months, but I think I'll get that typed to it in one document to send out with the packet for next month, and then from there, I think the step after that, get in the form of a memorandum of agreement that both the city council and county board would approve. There'd be for and addition city thing any ordinance that governs the management committee would be a section that there are new details in county ordinance about joint management, very few the ordinance change to be governed dated what date is there's we need to add 8 pages of ordinance to either the city I would so else that for next meeting, then we can just after. Need to read the agenda. time for the meeting. Sorry, guys.
In time, but I would like that, had maybe a one-time, I don't think it's extremely important. It would involve the history. I'm proud to that. And more like
Do we write that?
and I would come in there that reading it was on elected to there going for no work. Call it a Senate.
All right, so looking at the calendar, 4:30